Let me ask you this. After pouring into the lives of people all day long, and at the end of the day, you're feeling empty and depleted, who pours back into you? Who fills your cup? Who helps you? Do you have a person? Listen, I'm asking you this because often as caregivers, as helping professionals, nurses, teachers, counselors, like everyone who pours into the life of other people all day long, most times we don't have the relationships around us to help to build us back up. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about building life enhancing, authentic relationships that help us to have that bounce back ability, especially when things are difficult. So today, I'm going to share with you 7 ways to identify and to nurture those relationships so that you yourself are not running on empty. So I'm Coach Priscilla, and I help professionals or caregivers, people in high stress helping roles. I help them to go from burnout and overwhelmed to refreshed and restored and refueled so that they can continue making the impact that they're making in the lives of others without sacrificing their well-being. Okay, so I'm so excited about what we're going to talk about today. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, let's jump right into it. You know what, today I want to let me first share with you this scripture that was just very impactful as I was preparing this for you. So the scripture is Proverbs 17:17, and it said, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity." So, you know, sometimes we think that it's so much going on in our lives that people can't handle it. Like, people are not equipped to listen to us or to be there with us, to sit with us in our situations, but that is just not true. Most times we don't give them an opportunity to be with us. You know what? And I'm just going to share this with you because I tell this to some of my clients sometimes. A lot of times we carry around these loads and we carry around these burdens, right? These things that we're dealing with. And we say, I don't want to like burden my family. I don't want to burden my friend. I don't want to like put this off on them. When the truth is, people are able to tell you when they're not ready to deal with something, or if it's too much. We don't give them the opportunity to love us well by being with us and listening to us and sitting with us, right? They don't have to solve it. Sometimes we just need them to listen. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to to share that. Give people an opportunity just to be with you, just to talk to you, just to listen to you. You know, sometimes that's all you need is to be heard. So give them a chance. Give them a chance. So let's kick this off. If you need a notebook, get your notebook. Do whatever you need, and let's settle in and get these gems. This is gonna be so good. So I told you seven strategies, 7 things. And so point number 1, jumping right into it. Point number 1 is a friend is an advocate, right? So one of the ways to identify a good friend, a life-giving friend, is that they advocate. They are an advocate for you. And what do I mean by that? Friends, they see you in so many different spaces, and they're able to be with you even when you're not at your best, right? These are not people that you have to show up like 100%. You got to be like, you know, excited, ignited, you know, showing up well, makeup on, all the things. No, your friends are with you in good times and in bad times, in very difficult times. And so when I say a friend is an advocate, I say that because when they see you not at your best, they speak up. They check in on you. They see about how you're doing. And even like if you're around other people, you're showing up before other people, sometimes that means that they like got your back around other people, but in private, they're like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? I see that you showed up this way. I see that you're not being your best self, right? They can call you out on this stuff. And you respect and honor them enough to allow them to do that and to suggest helpful things and know that they're not coming from a hurtful or a harmful place when they do that. So, this reminds me of a situation even in my own life, right? So I'm gonna share this with you. You about to get all of my business. So I recall a situation where I was stressed. You hear me? I was stressed out and I was having a private conversation with someone else, and it was like over, just like we were writing over a chat, right? And I was in different places and going back and forth in this chat, right? And would you not believe I responded in frustration and in the group chat with everyone in it, and I didn't know it. And then somebody, a friend, reached out to me and said, did you intend for that to go into I don't think you intended for that to go in the group chat. You okay? They checked on me. They checked on me. They didn't just ignore it. They didn't just let it sit there. They checked on me. And while I was able to like be honest and to, work that out and to smooth things over, thank you, Lord. The point was that that person knew that that was not me. They knew that I wouldn't have wanted to represent myself in that way. And they checked on me. They checked on me. And that's what friends do. Friends check on you. They advocate for you. They make sure that you have things in place to protect you, to take care of yourself, all of those things. And so that's a picture. That's one of the points of what a friend looks like, a good friend, a life-giving and supportive friend. I just put my business out there just to share that with you. Have you ever had like a crazy situation like that? Do you have a friend that would do that for you? I mean, write it in the comments. Like, talk to me. Am I the only person that's ever like stepped outside of themselves for a second when they were stressed, right? Do you have a friend that would look out for you like that if you ever did? I'm talking real talk today. Let's get to point number 2. Point number 2. So that's an advocate, right? Point number 2 is a friend is a prayer partner. Now, this is the real deal, right? Friends just don't say, I'm going to pray for you and go on about their business. They actually go to God for you and with you. James 5:16 says the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous avails much. And listen, you can schedule like a 10-minute prayer session with your prayer partner or your friend once a week, or something like that, so that you can keep that up regularly. Or you can voice text if you're like lead a very busy life, or they live a very busy life. But it's a way for you to stay connected and consistent with having that person that's just looking out for you and you for them, right? So that's a powerful friendship and powerful prayer partnership. And then this in itself is like burnout prevention. It helps to build you up and to strengthen you and to sustain you. I had this other situation. This was years ago, but this is such a great example. I had a situation to where I said to myself, I'm not just going to tell people I'm going to pray for them. I'm really going to pray for them. And so I was like, I'm just going to start praying on the spot. When a person asks me to pray for them, I'm just going to stop, drop, and roll. I'm just going to pray for them right then so I don't forget, right? So that I'm really being true to what I say. So I remember walking through the mall with my husband, and I think the kids were with us, but I were just like walking through the mall, and I get this phone call, and this phone call from a friend, and they needed prayer. And so you know what I did? I just started praying right there. I stopped. I was like, hold on for a second, or I'm going to catch back up with you. I went over to the side. You know how sometimes they have those like halls that lead down to the corridors, like to the bathrooms and stuff like that. I stepped over to the side in that hallway, and listen, I prayed for them like I was praying for myself, or like I was praying for my child, or I was praying for my sister. I prayed. I went all the way in. I prayed for them, and I know that they appreciated it. And I felt so good because I did it. Like I did what I said that I was going to do, that I was going to be supportive to my friends, that I was going to be right there for them in prayer, and not like say, oh, I'm praying for you, and put that off to later, maybe that night when I prayed, or in the morning when I prayed, which that is fine as well. But let me pray for you now. If you're calling me now and dealing with this now, listen, I know that hearing that support, feeling that support is going to be major in that moment. It doesn't have to take a long time, but it was a good one. It was a good time. So yeah, that was point number 2. Get you a person that's going to be there for you, and you for them in that way, right? So point number 3, a friend who helps you live in alignment with your best self. Listen, that is an authentic, life-giving relationship. A friend who helps you to live in alignment with your best self, that's a friend, like I mentioned before, right? An advocate that sees you like not like at your best, but also, listen, also, this is a friend that holds you accountable to not just performance, but doing what you say you're going to do. You ever say like, oh, I'm going to start doing this or that for myself. I'm going to start taking naps when I'm exhausted instead of drinking a bunch of coffee. Or I'm going to start going to bed early. Or I'm going to start going for walks or jogging or whatever it is, right? I'm going to start doing these things. Well, a friend that helps you to live in alignment with your best self, when they see you not being your best self, they're going to say something, but also they're going to check in on the things that you promised yourself that you were going to do, right? How many times have you promised yourself that you were going to do something that you needed for you, and you reneged on your promise? You see how I play cards, right? I say reneged. How many times have you gone back on what you said that you were going to do? We're quick to fulfill promises that we make to other people, but what do we do when we make promises to ourselves? Sometimes we're too relaxed on those promises. When you say you're going to do something for you, do it. Fulfill your promise to yourself. So yeah, they hold you accountable to your values. And, Proverbs 27:17 says, iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. How good does it feel when somebody checks on you and says, how you doing with A, B, and C? You said that you were going to do this and that and that. How's it going? How are you doing with that? It feels good to me. When a person remembers what I said I was going to do, and when they check in with me about how I'm doing with that thing, oh my goodness, it's just the best. It feels so good. Because another thing for me is I'm like this overachiever, right? So when I know somebody's gonna check in with me about something, I'm more likely to get it done, to make sure that I do it, because I wanna have an answer. I wanna have, a good answer for them. I wanna be able to say, yep, I did it, or I've been doing it all week. I've been handling my business, right? So it's a really, really, really good way to do that. So, having a person that you've given permission, right? That's the thing. Because I don't want you catching no attitude with people. Give a person permission to walk in that space with you, right? Give them permission to check in on you, to hold you accountable, to ask you, did you do the thing that you said you were going to do? And then that way you won't feel attacked, but you'll feel supported. Does that make sense? Write in the notes, like comments. Makes sense. Makes sense. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. And so, yeah, definitely give that person that space. And it helps you to stay true to the promises that you make yourself. When you make the promises, keep them. And I need you to say, whenever I make promises to myself, I'm going to keep them. Put it in the comments. I'm keeping my promises to myself. Yes, yes. Yes, and this is a really, really good time for me to share with you about my book. If this, what we've talked about so far about friendships, if it's resonating with you, then you would really, really, really be blessed by having my book, Just Breathe. It's Just Breathe, Learning to Love Yourself Well Through Life's Challenges. Let me tell you, this book is a game changer. It's been helping so many people. So you make sure that you get that. The link is in the description for you to get that book. And it's really gonna be a game changer. It's gonna be a life changer for you. It's gonna change your perspective on friendships. It's gonna help you with clarity as you're moving in these different relationships, and help you to identify really good life-enhancing, life-giving, authentic relationships. So let's move on. Point number 4. Point numero, was that quattro? Point number 4. A friend who will pray with you and just be with you when you need it most, right? A lot of times people feel like they have to have an answer, like they have to have something to fix your problem. This goes for you and for your friends, right? When you have a friend that could just sit with you, that could just be with you, that could sit in that space, they could hold space with you in a difficult moment, whether they're crying with you or they're just there listening and supporting you. You guys are just sitting there and being together. That's so important. Presence is more powerful than performance. I think that was good. I think that's memorable. Put it in the comments. Presence is more powerful than performance, right? What you do, it means so much more than what you can say. So just being there means so much. So give your friend permission to just be there. They don't have to fix anything. I just want to be around you for a few minutes, right? Sometimes you don't need advice. You just need someone to sit there with you or to listen to you with whatever you're going through. Create that safe space, that friend circle space. So whether it be one friend or maybe 2 friends that you can call or text when you're feeling overwhelmed, and give them permission to just be with you in prayer or just in silence, but just to be there to support you. Point number 5, let's go. So point number 5, a friend can hold your deepest confidences. They're not putting your business out there in them streets. Trust on this level is sometimes rare, right? But it's very, very necessary. When you feel safe enough to just have these authentic conversations about like where you are, you don't feel like you have to perform or like you have to show up in a way that you're not, right? So you don't feel like you got to be all right when you're not all right, right? You know that your friend can handle you not being all right. I know I said something. Do you have a friend that can handle you not being all right? Let me know in the comments. Can you say, I'm not okay? Can you tell your friend, I'm not okay? You know, we were always like, hey, how you doing? And we're like, oh, I'm doing good. How you doing? That's okay for a surface relationship, right? For just a person that you know, that you high and by, a co-worker, you know, a surface relationship. But for a friend, this friend that we're talking about that we need, one that helps you to be more resilient, you need to be able to have that conversation of, hey, how you doing? I'm not okay. Not right now. Come on, come on. Can you do that? Or do you feel like you got to show up all right every time? Let me know. Say something. Tell me. Do you feel like you have to show up all right all the time? That is not authentic. It's not real. We are not okay all the time. Listen, Proverbs 11:13 says, a talebearer reveals secrets, but the person that is of a faithful spirit conceals a matter. They can hold your confidences, right? And when people show you who they are, believe them. If this person can't hold water, don't be telling them your business, because that opens up a whole other situation where you're hurt by a person because they told your business, because you're expecting them to show up in your life in a way that they're showing you that they can't. So if it happens once, don't give them an opportunity to do it again, because they're showing you, I can't hold that space with you. I might be able to hold another space, but that space is not a space that I can hold. Come on. I know that had to be, I'm trying to save some relationships, right? You might have some relationships that are good relationships. They're good people. Y'all can laugh together and have fun together, but you can't tell them your business. If you can't tell them your business, don't tell them your business. But that person that you can share your business with, the person that can hold a confidence, open up. Share that with them. Let them hold that space with you. Let them take, one end, and while you hold the other end of that heavy thing, right? It makes it lighter. And you know what? And a tip for that too is to have some of these relationships like outside of work, so that if you're sharing work things, that it's safe to do that. And maybe outside of church or ministry, right? If it's something that you need to share with about that situation, right? Having people in different spaces helps you to feel more safe and open to have these conversations, right? And not feel like someone would be offended by that. So if what we're talking about is helpful to you, then I want you to make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe and hit the bell so that you'll be notified whenever I'm dropping off something to encourage you on your wellness journey, okay? All right, point number 6, we getting down to it. Listen, fire friendships build fire lives. I'ma say that again. Fire friendships build fire lives. So remember earlier I was saying that having these good, authentic, life-enhancing relationships help you to be more resilient. It helps you to have that bounce back ability in life. These are the relationships that you want around you. This is the type of person that you want to be in your relationships. When your relationships are strong and when you have one or two, a couple of relationships that are this way, it helps you when you're under a lot of stress, right? To build you up, to strengthen you, to empower you, to make you laugh, to make you smile, right? Those things help you to release endorphins, right? Those hormones that help you to feel better in a difficult situation when all of those stress hormones are going crazy and running rampant in your body. It helps to have those endorphins released because it helps to give you a little bit of joy. It helps to like give you some hormones that help you really to feel better in that moment. And listen, if you don't have these relationships already in your life, it's never too late. It's never too late to start building these types of relationships. Because a lot of times you have people around your life that you haven't yet identified as these people. So you haven't yet opened up the door to give them space to walk in these places with you, right? So it's never too late to build these types of relationships. Now is the best time, right? It's the best time to begin now. If you didn't have it before, now is the time. Now is the best time. Now is always the best time. So definitely look into building these relationships. They're going to help you so much in your life. Think about what you value in friendships, right? So I just shared with you some things that are valuable. But what do you know that you do value in friendships and relationships? And write those things down. Like share some of those things with me in the comments. Just start calling them out. Call them out. Loyalty, maybe that's one thing, right? What is it that you value in relationships? So a pointer that I want to share with you in building these relationships is you should invest some time into building these relationships outside of times when you're completely stressed out or depleted or worn out or in a moment of crisis, right? Because in those moments, it's harder to in those moments, you need those people there already, right? So when you're not in those moments are times where you want to be nurturing and building those relationships so that they're there when you need them. I remember a time in my life, and I'm going to share this story with you. I remember a time in my life where I had a really, really hard situation in my life. I mean, it felt like life kind of turned upside down on its head. And I was unsure of myself. I felt like I didn't know who I was anymore. And I called someone who was very close to me. And she reminded me of who I was and whose I am, right? She reminded me that I'm a daughter of the Most High God, that God loves me, that I can pray. Like, she was like, girl, you can pray and you can hear from God. And you would not understand, you would not believe how impactful that was to me. Because at this point in my life, I felt like I didn't know what was up or what was down. But when they reminded me of who I was and how much God loved me and that I have a voice, that I know how to pray. Like, your basics, girl, you got your basics. You know how to pray and you know how to hear from God. I felt empowered. And I felt like I could begin to put the pieces back together. And that was so huge for me, That was so impactful for me, and I will never, ever forget that. And so that's the power of having these authentic, life-giving relationships, that because you can be honest with them about where you are and how you're feeling. Like, you could be real with them, right? About where you are. You don't feel like you have to show up in a way that you're not, right? You could be real with them and they can be real with you. And I just wanted to share that because that was so powerful to me. And I don't know if you can look around your life or think about times in your life where you've had those sort of situations and where someone showed up for you in that way, or whether you just know that you need to begin to nurture some relationships so that you have those relationships that you can tap into when you need to. That particular person, we don't talk all the time, but that relationship right there for me is one that doesn't skip a beat. No matter when we connect, we don't skip a beat. It's like we jump. It's like no time has passed when we actually have a conversation. And I love that so much. So I just had to share with that with you. Do you have a relationship with? Tell me, let me know. Do you have something like that? Or do you need to nurture a relationship like that? Put it in the comments. So here is this bonus that I wanted to share with you, right? So I want you to use friendship. So this is point 7, but it has a caveat. Use friendship as a wellness strategy. This is powerful. It's a way that you can tie using a good friendship like this into your self-care plan, right? So if you tie this into your self-care plan, then you're organizing and strategizing and using this as a part of your wellness to keep yourself well and doing well. So like part of your self-care plan might be to make sure you go for walks, or to go play basketball, or to go fishing, or to like do this thing for yourself that is replenishing and refueling and fun, right? Or go to dance class, or go to pottery, or I don't know what your thing is, but whatever it is, you can add connecting with your friend, right? Whether it be through prayer, or whether it be doing something with them, or a phone conversation, whatever way that you all connect, that can be a part of your wellness plan, your self-care strategy. So let me tell you why this is so impactful, because I keep telling you, this helps you to be more emotionally resilient. It really does help you to have that bounce back ability. And here is the bonus. It helps your emotional wellness, your spiritual wellness, and your physical wellness. And this is how. Healthy relationships give us a safe place to share, process, and regulate our emotions. It really does. I was about to say straight up. Listen, supportive relationships, they buffer against stress, against depression, and against anxiety. It also, like, research shows that people with strong social bonds, they recover from emotional distress much faster. So when your relationships are strong, your emotions, they stabilize a whole lot faster. Come on, don't tell me that's not a bonus. Somebody say bonus. Put it in the comments. Bonus. Your relationships, they affect your spiritual wellness. How? God created us for connection. So Genesis 2:8 says it's not good for man to be alone. So spiritually nourishing friendships, they sharpen our faith. So having prayer partners, accountability, and people who speak life into us, they strengthen our walk with God. So when your relationships are rooted in truth, your spirit thrives. So listen, come on, bonus, bonus, bonus. Somebody go, spiritual bonus. Put it in the comments. All right. And so let's talk about how our relationships impact our physical wellness. This is something that you might not have thought of, but I'm going to tell you now. Loneliness is a thing. Loneliness is a real thing. So chronic loneliness has the same health risk as smoking like 15 cigarettes a day. Seriously. Studies from Harvard and the CDC share that. So stress hormones like cortisol, so we talked about that, they decrease when we feel connected. How great is that? I told you that you release good hormones. So it lowers the risk of heart disease and it improves your immunity. So you stay well, you feel well, and you actually physically are healthier when you have these good life-giving relationships. Laughter, shared meals, and companionship, they literally lower your blood pressure. Can you believe that? And it extends your lifespan. Can you believe that? So when your relationships are healthy, your body is healthier too. Come on. So relational wellness, your relationships, it's not just social support. It's a protective factor for emotional resilience, spiritual growth, and physical health. All right, so when you invest in life-giving relationships and friendships, you're not just improving your relationships, you're strengthening your entire being. And that's so powerful. I'm so excited about this. I want to kind of end this by saying, like, healthy relationships, they regulate your emotions, they deepen your faith, and they extend your life. That's why emotional wellness, relational wellness is not optional. It's necessary. It's foundational to your whole person health. So think about that. I'm really excited that we talked about this today, because if you haven't been investing in your relationships, now is as good a time as any. Begin to do that. I have a reflection question for you. Who in your life has proven to be safe, a life-giving friend? And how can you intentionally nurture that relationship this week? And how can you also be that friend to someone else, right? It's not just about receiving, although that's important, because that's what we're talking about today, because we give. How can you identify those relationships in your life and connect with them so you can begin to nurture them? And then in sync, be that for that person or for some other person that's in your life. And so I'm going to challenge you. I'm always going to challenge you. Identify one person in your life that you trust and schedule a time for a deeper life-giving conversation this week. One person, just one, okay? Offer to pray with them or to simply just check on them, ask how they're doing, and show up for them. That doesn't mean that you need to solve their problem. It just means maybe sit with them, maybe be with them, maybe just listen to them, or maybe just pray with them. And maybe journal about it in the evenings, or whenever you journal. How does giving and receiving authentic friendship impact my stress and emotions? Think about how it impacted you that day. When you're giving and receiving in these authentic relationships, how did that impact me today? How did I feel about that? How did I feel after I did it? Right? So do that, because if you do it and it feels good to you, it was so good for you, you're likely to do it again. And then I have an affirmation for you. I am worthy of friendships that strengthen me. I attract and invest in people who pray with me, who advocate for me, and who walk with me through adversity. Come on, I'm gonna say it again. I am worthy of friendships. I'm worthy of friendships that strengthen me. I attract and invest in people who pray with me, who advocate for me, and who walk with me through adversity. I think that that's a good thing to remind ourselves so that we don't think that we always have to show up at 100%. That is not real. But real relationships can accept the real you where you are and be there to support you to show up as your best self in life. All right, so you could take everything that I gave you today and enhance your life. I mean, really, really, really enhance your life. But if you have not joined, if you have not signed up to get into my wellness community, I need you to jump on that waiting list. I don't know what you're waiting for, but jump on that waiting list so that you can be the first to know when it goes live, when it launches. That community is going to be so powerful. Listen, we're talking about these life-enhancing relationships. Doing things alone, we do them a lot. But we need to be able to have a space that's just for us. A space where you can come to after a rough day, and where you can debrief, right? A space that will hold you accountable, a space that will encourage you and inspire you and uplift you and push you to become your best self, a place that will challenge you to develop healthy and helpful habits, a place that will be just your own for support, a place where you have a community of people who will just really encourage you and to help you show up as your best self, and a place where you can encourage and inspire other people to show up as their best selves, right? I'm really, really excited about this wellness community, and I'll be sharing more and more and more with you about it in the coming days. But for now, make sure you jump on that waiting list, okay? And I can't wait to see you in there. See you soon.